Now, this pure essence of the witness, the one who's aware, the one who is watching. You're the watching all the time. You're just the watching. You're watching when you're sleeping, but of course you're not aware because you haven't awakened. Well, some of you haven't awakened yet. But in sleep, the watcher is there. In dreams, there's the watching of the dreams. And in the waking state, there's also the watching. The watching is always there. But the watching is timeless. And it's not tinged by anything. There's no selfishness. There's no demands. There's no judgment. There's no past or future. And it's eternal. See, that is the beautiful thing. Timeless, of course. And when we talk about timelessness, did you know that it is obvious? And that's how you begin to know your eternal nature. Now, when does anything happen that is not now? Is it possible for something to happen that is not now? It's not possible. But then, you see, because of memory, we have created, because we cannot survive without memory. Memory and adaptation are part of survival, part of the mechanism of being a form. And these are essential. Without them, you cannot exist. You cannot survive. See? But we forget who is the principal motivator, who is the principal being in all this. You see, it is that watching, the space, your space awareness. Right now, just become still. You're looking at me doing all the talking. But just watch for a moment and ask yourself, who is really listening right now? And you'll find it's not your ego, it's not your conditioned self, it's not who you think you are. It's just listening. That listening is always there. Always. It is the watcher. That is your fundamental nature. Okay? So, now, if you have understood this much, any question that arises will be answered by simply knowing this fact. By just knowing this, that you are the watcher. That very knowing itself will answer every question and will solve every problem that you might have. So let's do a simple method right now. Are you all ready? Okay. Remain as you are. Rather than slouching back, if you could keep your back just slightly straight, close your eyes, and we have 3 steps we're going to go through. I want you to experience fully each one, and I guide you step by step. Okay, right now, the reason the body is so solid and tangible, and it's also scientists have proven this, because the body is electromagnetic energy, every cell is consciousness. The only thing that keeps the body looking tangible to the senses is because of action. The body is never still. If the body were to be still for 1 second, it would disappear. Yeah, close your eyes so that you can feel it. Don't feel what I'm saying. Now, I would like you to feel your body right now and see how it's moving all the time. Let me guide you so that you become aware of it. But stay with your body, please. You are breathing. And yet, who's breathing? Are you doing the breathing, or is the breathing always taking place? The breathing is always happening. Go back to your heart. Your heart is beating. There's a right ventricle and a left ventricle. And did you know that your blood is coursing through your body through miles and miles of arteries? Now, as you sit, as you are, be aware of your aliveness. Feel the blood coursing through you. For example, if you become aware of your hands right now, feel how alive they feel, their warmth. You can feel they feel alive. Feel that. Your body is moving all the time. Now, who is doing that? Who is doing it? Try not to come up with words like God is doing it or the watcher is doing it. or consciousness is doing it. Just feel it out. So that you begin to recognize that you, as an ego, as a small self, is not doing it at all. But yet, we had taken it for granted. If you eat a morsel of food, the body immediately starts digesting it, assimilating it, and eventually eliminating some of it. The body is doing all that, which is a miracle in itself. How beautiful the body is. How magnificent. Now I'd like you to move to stage 2. Keep your eyes closed, remain very still. Now I want you to listen to your mind. What your mind is telling you. Did you know that every thought you think affects your body? Because it's a memory, and the body is made up of your memory. Now, see what you are telling yourself. See what was coursing through your mind as I was speaking or as I am speaking. When you start watching your mind, you begin to see that your mind is always telling you ways in which you can control something or other, in doing some action or other. But the mind itself is made up of memory, of thought process, the recollection, retention, this brain activity. It's all being propelled by the memory. And although the body never lies because it exhibits exactly what is going inside you, yet the mind is filled with stories that are not true. Oh, they did that to me. Oh, how I hate them. They're terrible people, etc., etc. Or you could say it against yourself. In other words, judgment, comparison, rationalization, figuring things out. And yet all that can be put aside. And watching can become so perfect. The mind is ever active. All it takes is one negative thought, and your body will reflect it immediately. It will feel its force, its power. If you were to think, somebody were to tell you, or you would think that you're going to die tomorrow, you'll be in complete tension from head to foot, in complete fear and anxiety. This is inevitable. Now, I hope you're all awake and listening. I'd like you to do the following now. I'd like you to listen very, very closely, because this is the important thing. Right here, right now. The third phase of this. I asked you to watch your body, and then I asked you to watch your mind, and we can all do that. Who was it that was watching? Who watched the body-mind organism? As you remain the way you are, you may speak, if you like, with your eyes closed so that you can feel it. Who is the watcher? Can I ask you, Inez?
Well, I thought something outside of me.
Could something outside of you be watching every move you make and act through you? Okay, very good. So is it outside or inside?
Well, inside.
And it's not outside either. It has to be inside. Inside what? The body?
I don't know.
Very good. That is the perfect answer. Okay? And when you become very honest, you will really say, I don't know who the watcher is. That's very honest. Why? Because it's so vast, it's so complete, it's so total, it's so one, that it's inconceivable for the mind to even understand it, or even touch upon it. It can't.